Hello and welcome to On the Wrist. Today we have this Breitling Super Ocean 44mm with this beautiful turquoise dial. This is a beautiful dive watch from Breitling with some retro vibes and some incredibly high legibility. This ceramic bezel diver has a lot to offer, and this video is a full technical as well as design review. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So first off, you'll notice this beautiful turquoise dial. I love this color, it stands out so nicely. And the perk is it has a lot of great legibility deep underwater. The next major thing you'll notice is the handset. We have three distinct hands, with the second having the circular portion, the hour having the sort of sword-like shape, and then my personal favorite, the minute hand, that has almost a hammer-like large rectangular shape. I feel like this shape is quite polarizing for some, but for me it's actually an attraction to the watch because it adds to a tremendous amount of legibility, and I think it just is visually quite cool. Coming outwards to the indices, they're all applied, and there's this beautiful slope up to the minute register on the outside, which is marked in individual minute increments all around the dial for extra legibility with a white background. That comes out to the nice ceramic bezel that you can use as a dive timer. And what's interesting here is the proportions between the dial, the inner minute tracker, and the outer bezel. I actually quite like the play here between the colorful dial, the large indices, the large white space for the minute tracker, and the much thinner bezel. I think it holds it well within the profile and creates a nice visual balance between the elements. A nice slim case design that comes down quite quickly to this beautiful rubber strap. What's nice here is it is a tapering rubber strap, and I like how this looks almost like fish scales. It comes down into this beautiful and very firm clasp. What's really cool here is this clasp has a ton of micro adjustment points, which you can press this button and adjust it without needing a specific tool. Makes it very easy to get a good fit, and it's really nice to see brands incorporating this type of clasp into their watches. And now let's talk about the technical specifications of this watch. The technical specs will pull up on the left. So the diameter of this watch is 44mm, with the thickness being a nice tight 12.6mm. Lug width is 22mm, and the tip-to-tip distance is 50mm. Movement is the Breitling 17 with a 38-hour power reserve, and is a base ETA 2824-2 or Sellita SW200-1 chronometer certified movement. The crystal is glare-proofed sapphire, and the water resistance rating is 300 meters. There is very solid lume on the hands, indices, and on the 12 o'clock position of the bezel. Very solid lume, and now let's get a couple shots on the wrist. Here we have it on my 7.5-inch wrist, and lately I have actually not enjoyed watches of this size, but this one in particular fits, I think, quite nicely on my wrist. 44 is definitely the absolute biggest I'd go. It was actually the size of my first diver. I absolutely love the color of this dial. I think it is so legible, and I'm a huge fan of rubber straps, easy to get a good fit, and also just so comfortable. This watch has really great legibility, and I can definitely see myself wearing this, whether it's on a bracelet or a rubber strap. I'm here once again at Royal Jewelers in Andover, Massachusetts. They've been kind enough to let me film using one of their watches. Royal Jewelers is where I purchased my OntheWrist Big Crown pointer date, as well as my Tudor Black Bay 58. Royal Jewelers carries brands like Cartier, Breguet, Panerai, IWC, Grand Seiko, Accuchon, Ulysses Nardine, and even some smaller brands like Norcane and Zodiac. Royal Jewelers has an extensive pre-owned selection, and I highly recommend you check them out if you're in the Massachusetts area. Link to their website in the description. Now let's talk MSRP. MSRP of this watch on rubber as of January 2024 is $5,050 US. On a bracelet, this will cost $5,250 US. Breitling is a luxury watch manufacturer, so of course this watch is of that price range. Now for me, I absolutely love the visual design. Everything on this watch feels like it should for a watch of this price point. The only real major point of contention I would say is the movement. This movement, while it is chronometer certified, it is still an ETA 24-2 or Sellita SW200-1 per the Breitling website. I do wish they had used their in-house caliber B20, which they do use in their Heritage series. However, I think they used the B17 non-manufacturer caliber because of the thickness of this watch only being 12.6, whereas the Heritage series is, I think, about 14mm thick. And while the ETA and Sellita movements have incredible reliability and are very proven within the industry, I do hope at some point they put the in-house movement into this series, but I do think the visual design of this watch and the brand name of Breitling does command this price point. So while I do wish they'd use the in-house movement, I do think overall this watch sits kind of where I would expect for Breitling's portfolio. So in conclusion, I do think this watch has a lot to offer with a ceramic bezel, solid visual design, incredibly comfortable rubber bracelet with a significant amount of on-the-fly micro-adjustment points. And while I do have a couple critiques about the movement choice, I do think this watch was executed quite well and would be an excellent addition to many people's collection. And personally, this watch has me very interested, but more on that at a later date. But let me know down in the comments below, what do you think about this watch? Do you like Breitling? What do you think about the movement choice? Let me know, I'd love to hear your comments. That's all for me today. This has been On The Wrist. Thank you for watching.